Yes, sir. Thank you very much, man. Definitely been looking forward to this press conference.
After the last time, it was hard not to feel badly for you, right? You're sitting there all alone, and then he said you would get decimated. What was going through your mind at that point when Dana said you would be decimated, and how did you use that in the days and weeks after he said that to help you tonight?
Well, for one, when he said I would get decimated, I grew up like that, like tough skin. I didn't think much of it because one, I've trained with a lot of high level guys, and I knew that it just wasn't true, but I understand it was based off that performance, so. It is what it is. But overall, I just let that use that to fuel me. I knew coming to this fight, I had to definitely show something and be able to really get my guy out of here. And that was the plan, and really get him out of here in the first round. I felt like I had the capabilities of doing it, which is showcased. But I just think, I was really ready. And even though I took this one on shorter notice, literally it was just 4 weeks. The week after I fought, I get a call from Malky, from first round. He was like, "Hey, we got an opportunity." And I'm like, "Really?" I couldn't even believe they was actually trying to offer me to come back. So, it was really awesome to finally come back on here and showcase what you really can do.
And, after you come back, you have to do something big tonight, right? I mean, because you're not going to come back a fourth time if you don't make it tonight. So you have to do something big. Did you fight outside of what your normal fight plan would be, or is what we saw tonight what we're going to see every time you're in the UFC?
What you saw tonight is what you're going to see in the UFC. I finally fought. I was talking to my uncle. I was talking to my coaches. It's like, fight your fight. Go out there and just do you. And I was. Most of the time when guys come on a Contender Series, they looking to do that extra thing, obviously in the front of the eyes of the matchmakers and Dana White. But for myself, I said, we just going to go out here and just do me. The W is the thing that matters the most, which is I always go out here. I always have the W as the top of my list. And as long as I was going out there to win, everything else was going to play into itself. And I just made sure of that. And I was like, we go out here and just do Torrez Finney. Nobody can deny you.
And lastly, for me, the comment about, he said, go out and get another fight. You had the Ultimate Fighter situation. You couldn't fight. So that had to be frustrating, and you didn't really speak out. You can't really say too much. You're a fighter trying to get in the UFC. You can't say much about Dana. But what was going on, and what did you say to your friends and family and whatnot when that was going on, the fact that that's a pretty substantial point that he wasn't aware of, right?
Yeah. There was obviously a lot of things that's going on behind the scenes, and I said that in a lot of my interviews. I said, Dana definitely has a lot of things on his table, so I'm sure that he didn't know. And I was selected to be on Ultimate Fighter earlier this year. Talked with a lot of my things with my family and my team on even taking that opportunity. And I went there. They chose another route, and that took up 4 months out of my year at the beginning of the year. And that's the part of the things where I was saying in my interviews, I went through a lot this year. Took up 4 fights instantly. When I got released from the house, potentially going into the house from the hotel, I instantly found another fight. We found a fight a week and a half later. I took it, went on to become one of the most viral knockouts of the year. And then, I was right back on Contender Series, which I had already offered to me before the knockout fight. So I didn't even have to fight that fight. I could have came right back on the Contender Series because I was already offered the contract and not fight that fight at all. But with me, I was like, I want to get that experience. I literally said I want to get in the cage because I don't want to have these long layoffs. I don't like the 7-8 months layoffs. If anything, I like what I just did not too long ago. Now, not 4.5 weeks. I'm definitely going to need some rest now. But I definitely needed that, that timing to get back into the cage before I came back on the stage like this and perform.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Torrez, to your left. I mean, did you feel more pressure mentally going into this one, knowing it could be all or nothing, or was it more of like, I've been here twice, got 2 Ws, but let's just do it again in more impressive fashion?
No, not necessarily a lot of pressure. When I've been growing up, look, I've wrestled high level for a long time. Played football on big stages back from my hometown, and the pressure of just, being an athlete, always looking up to perform, I know how to feel in these situations. I know if I just go out there and do me, I only worry about the situation at hand. I don't ever think about, all the other factors. Yes, was it in the back of my mind? We all human. Yes, it was in the back of my mind, but I wasn't predicating on that. Man, I got to really do this because this could be my last shot. No, it was more of we go out here and we just do me. You know, you focus on the task at hand, everything else will take care of itself.
And I'm sure one of the things that the matchmakers and Dana wanted more out of you in the previous outings was just to go to work more when you have those positions and the dominant control showings you just showed. So was that something you had in your mind going into this one? When I do get on the top position, go to work, or was it just kind of go out there and do Torrez Finney?
Yes, we put a little bit more emphasis on the ground and pound, obviously, but if anybody have watched any of my fights, they know that I do that anyway. So again, it was more of me getting back to what I usually do, and it's just. I think sometimes we don't give the respect to the other fighters, like Yuri Panfarov, my first contender, like Cam Ralston. Those guys did a lot of really good things on the ground, and they negated me from doing a lot of things, and it made the fight look that way in those type of situations. So I give a lot of respect to those guys. I definitely think those guys are high level and definitely be seen on the scene soon as well.
And before you got the ground and pound, you almost locked up an arm triangle. So how close was that, and how did it look like from your point of view?
Man, brother, that was close. He was gurgling like crazy, man, and I thought I was about to get the finish. But ideally, we did come into the fight, and we did say we wanted the ground and pound finish to say we got a knockout, we got a sub, and we got a decision. We won it almost in every single round on this show. What more could you possibly do? So that was good.
And going into this, a lot of fans on social media have just been kind of claiming for you to get a contract from the last two outings. So how did it feel to see that support on social media as you entered your third?
Yeah, man, my social media have been blowing up ever since from last year when I didn't get it, and obviously all the way, past the viral knockout up to this point, my physique and all that things, social media definitely has its power, and it's been a blessing that I am able to have that to be able to showcase to other people, not only just for myself, but what hard work can showcase for you, and I'm thankful for all the people that had a lot of support behind me, and I really do thank God for them.
Last one for me, victory dance. You had Dana and the matchmakers smiling and laughing. Was that the sense of relief you needed to hear today?
It was. It was more like, come on, man. What more do a brother got to do? Yes, sir.
Torrez.
What's up, Alex? How you doing, baby?
Good, bro. Not as good as you. Can you talk a little bit more about just this whole year? It hasn't even been 1 year since your first fight on Contender Series. Can you just talk about what you were feeling mental health wise? It's a lot. It's a lot to deal with. You saw maybe your UFC dream go away. What were you going through?
Well, I always say this. I think God gives his toughest battles to different soldiers, and I think I'm one of those soldiers that God has given those battles to. And I feel like I'm that guy that can deal with a lot. There has been a lot. Not only within the fight game, but outside the fight game that I've dealt with. I've had a pretty big injury that held me off right after the Contender Series. Then, getting ready for the Ultimate Fighter, and then, the finding fights and getting the fight and being told no. It was just a whole lot of things that were going on. And, I just kept my head down and keep grinding because whether I win, whatever happens, I don't look back at those type of things. It's like, okay, we handled the business, now what's next? So that's the way I always approach things. It's like, what's next? Yes, we're going to celebrate this win. We're going to enjoy it, have fun for about a few weeks. And then we're going to be like, all right, what's next? Because now I already have plans of trying to get better in other aspects, because that's what I want to do. I want to be the greatest. I want to be the best that I can possibly be, and I know I can do that. So, if you have that up next mentality, you can definitely put a lot of things that keep piling up on top of you. But like I said, I think God gives some of his soldiers different battles for those reasons.
Now that you're up there, you have the contract, you're at your post-fight interview. How does it feel to be a UFC fighter? Or do you feel like you have to get that UFC fight first to be one?
Well, I'm going to be honest with you, man. Along with my teammate, Trevor Peek, being able to go through a lot of these experiences with him, and I'm going to be honest with you. I feel like I was already in the UFC. When you fight 3 times in a Contender Series, that's literally, you go 4-fight deal. Heck, I've already done 3 of them, so I already feel like I was in the UFC. Going through the walk, all of this stuff, I felt comfortable. I was like, I've done this enough times, So, when that UFC debut, I know obviously there's some more added things to that week and to that day, but it'll be the same for me. It's like I've already looked forward to this. I know what I'm ready for.
I'm sure you get it in every single post you put, but people are saying, drop down to welterweight, drop down to 155. Can you tell people what's up with that?
Well, if y'all can find out where I can drop it at, y'all please give me a call, because that's not possible. It is hard for a brother to drop to 170. It's already hard for me to get 85, let alone 170. But I feel like I'm really good at my weight class. I don't really, think about, the other things because I've competed with some of the world's best. I literally have former world champions. I know where I stand, and I know I can compete on this level with the best of the best.
So when people say your height compared to bigger middleweights, it's like you've already competed against tall guys, right?
Yes, I've literally just went against a guy that was 6'5". I went against another guy 6 foot, 6'1". I mean, I've seen it all. I've seen 6'4". I've seen growing up playing football. When you see guys that are 6'4", 330, 320 pounds, you don't ever worry about no height. I know the fight game is a little different, obviously with length and striking and those sorts, but I'm never worried about height. I mean, look, one of the guys I would compete against, he's in the NFL right now. His name Coach Strange, plays for the Patriots. We played together at UTC. I see guys like him, McClendon, who plays for the Seahawks. I see guys like him all the time. I don't worry about nobody's height. And I'm playing on the D-line. I was Defensive Player of the Year. Led the state in sacks. I've seen guys way bigger than me, and I would get through them all. And some of these guys are in the NFL right now, so I don't ever think about height or anything because I've always went against that. Look, when you've been short your whole life, what's going to happen now? You ain't going no taller. So, yeah, I'm not worried about that in the slightest.
And then finally, for me, what's the perfect debut? When would you like to return? And do you just kind of have like a perfect scenario in your mind?
Yeah, man. I'm definitely looking forward to sometime next year. My goal every year is to try to get 3 fights in. Hopefully, sometime next year around March or April. Give my body some rest. 2 fights in the span of 6 weeks is a lot. 2 weight cuts in the span of 6 weeks is a lot. So, I got to give my body some time to rest. But when next year hits, man, we're going to be up and rolling. Let's start this journey towards the title.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much, Alex. Anybody else? Thank y'all.